Hello, I'm Roxie Grant. I'm an artist and musician from West Sussex in England. My artist moniker project is Roxana, which is derived from the way that my Polish grandmother would pronounce my name, Roxanne. She'd say Roxana. So that's where that came from, to honour her memory. I grew up on a livestock farm in Northumberland in the northeast. I was a deeply sensitive and fiercely independent only child, and I noticed the tiny details in my environment. All sense of time would disappear sitting at a little blue table in front of a tractor garage where I'd be singing away and painting the cracks and the shadows that loomed above me in the crags on the Pennine Fells. I fell in love with abstract ways of creating after taking a graffiti art course as a teenager, after which a large-scale piece I created was made a permanent installation in Hexham and the Centre for the Arts for about 6 years. Every time I went up the stairs to the theatre, I would see my piece and it would make me feel so proud, and I think that's been a massive inspiration ever since. And my creative curiosity has since taken me on lots of adventures where I had the pleasure of working in Pennsylvania, Paris and London within the performing arts as a theatre director and working with young people. The places and the people I interact with are where I draw most of my musical and artistic inspirations from. My biggest artistic inspirations and influences have been Agnes Martin, Ethel Adnan and Georgia O'Keeffe. They are so diverse in their creative endeavours, artistically and poetically and philosophically as well. They're just incredible female leading figures that have had unrelenting determination as women in the arts, and they're able to live like amazing, colourful lives doing so much. And I think that's what I would like to achieve as a woman in the arts and music, and I would like that to be my legacy too. So currently, artistically, I'm currently preparing a project called Cartomancy, which is working with ink and watercolour on rag paper, experimenting to create kind of a flowing feel of erosion, movement of water between rocks, glaciers and coastlines, and it's kind of taking a microscope and really zooming in on what you can find in between those spaces and places where things don't usually live or feel like they belong. And this process, it naturally distorts and erodes what was a solid structure to create like an ethereal and delicate abstract piece at the end. Musically, I am putting the finishing touches to my first single, which is called Kansas City. It's a mellow indie folk kind of vibe about a chance meeting of soulmates who know they can't be together, and that will be released very soon, later this year, 2023. The biggest challenge of being an artist, speaking from my own experiences and many creatives that I speak with, they struggle deeply with imposter syndrome. And I think that is inevitable when you're not necessarily fitting in with traditional schooling or techniques or routes into this creative world, which has changed a lot, I think, from being like fine artists and classically trained musicians to really experimenting. And I think that not everyone's going to appreciate that. I think that's probably timeless in that way that I don't know, like Van Gogh probably felt all that, which meant that he ended up being the way that he felt about life. It can be quite stressful, and I think building that self-assuredness to accept the feedback and accept the criticism, learn from it, take what what is positive from that and carry on regardless. And it's a huge step to overcoming that fear. And with that in mind, I think I would go back to that little girl sitting at the blue table in front of that tractor garage and tell her that not to let the harsh voices of the world break her spirit, and try and keep her to the voices that try to keep her small. And if they don't love you for who you are, then shrug it off and keep moving towards what brings you joy and contentment. I'm going to keep remembering that myself as I go along through my life. My artistic style is quite eclectic. It's intuitive and expressionist. So if you were to watch me in the studio, I don't often use a paintbrush. I love getting stuck in with my hands in paint, charcoal. I like soft pastels. I like to create a movement and an energy in some of my pieces. And weird thing that I like to use is a household emulsion. I go to B&Q and I buy tester pots, and I choose weird colours, and I play about with them to see what shapes can be made, and that's very fun. I really enjoy that. One thing I do majority of the time is that I create my best work after everyone has gone to bed. It's quiet. I don't have cars going past the window and airplanes and construction noises, and my brain waves shift into a different state of being where nobody is expecting anything from me. I'm alone, and I can allow myself that time to align with the images that appear. Where music plays a huge part in my life anyway as a musician, but also in my artistic process. I don't have a specific genre of music that I like the best. I will have a mood or a feeling that I would like to channel, and it's a bit weird, but I put on headphones and I create, like, synesthetically. I kind of tune in to just whatever appears in my mind, and I try to show that on paper or canvas or whatever I'm working on at the time. So one of the weirdest, well, not weird, really good reactions to one of my artworks is I created an abstract piece during one of those synesthetic moments, and it came about as a kind of seascape feel. Somebody saw it straight away and bought it because it was exactly like a photo that they had taken years ago when they were traveling in Sri Lanka, but they had lost the photo, and it brought back all those memories. And so it was like lovely that had a meaning for them, that it just sort of came out of my brain out of nowhere, and that was really lovely to experience that. I felt pride and happiness that person could really get some joy from that. And so I think people, what I would like for people to take away from my work is that sense of tranquility, a sense of some meaning for them, and I hope that they can kind of find a mellow zen sort of state when they look at my artwork, and that they can enjoy it for that peaceful element. Thank you for listening.